Hello, everyone, and welcome to Schwab Coaching. My name is Cameron May, and this is Getting Started with thinkorswim. You know, sometimes a trader gets a new trade idea. Maybe it's a strategy, maybe it's a new approach to the markets, and they wonder to themselves, I wonder how this has performed in the past. I wish there was a way that I could go back in time and test this new strategy or idea. Well, today, we're going to be looking at three powerful tools available right there on the thinkorswim desktop trading platform that can allow a trader to go back in time and backtest a stock or an option strategy. Should be a really good discussion. Before we can get to that, though, let me first of all say hello to everybody that's already chatting in there out there in YouTube land. Great to see Rip Van Winkle and Eva and Nirmalan, Tom, KB5810, everybody else. Thanks for joining us week after week. We really do appreciate your attendance and your contributions to these discussions. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you as well. And if you are watching on the YouTube archive after the fact, enjoy the presentation, but be aware that you're invited to join us in the live discussion. This one does kick off promptly 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Monday afternoons. It typically wraps up in about 25 minutes, so you don't want to be late to this one. All right, and as a final heads up, my very good friend Ken Rose is going to be hanging out there in the chats. Ken's going to be answering any questions that I can't get to just during the natural flow of the presentation. As long as they're on topic, Ken can help me pick up the slack there. But one thing that Ken and I would like to do is issue an invitation to you. If you're not following us on Twitter or X, it's a great resource. It's that's available to you free of charge, and it helps you to connect with your favorite presenters in between these live streams. So if you'd like to follow Ken on X or Twitter at Ken Rose CS, I'm there at Cameron May CS, and if you reply to one of my posts there, it allows me to reply back to you, and that's just a quick way to connect with us there in between the live streams. All right, now we also need to bear in mind that risk is real. These disclosures are important. The information here is for general informational purposes only. It should not be considered an individualized recommendation or endorsement of any particular security, chart pattern, or investment strategy. Options carry a high level of risk and are not suitable for all investors. Schwab does not recommend the use of technical analysis as a sole means of investment research. And of course, investing involves risks, including the loss of principal. All right. So let's talk about backtesting. There are three things that I want to accomplish today. Number one is I want to show three tools that are available on the thinkorswim platform for the purpose of backtesting new trade strategies. And they might relate to stock trading, they might relate to options trading, but these are tools that a trader might use to go back and just see if the thing that they're considering doing has actually had a track record of success in the past. Now, obviously, success in the past is not a guarantee of future performance, but backtesting is just a discipline that's commonly employed by new traders of new strategies. But then we want to apply that to some example stocks, and then we want to get some repetition with it so that we get good and comfortable with these tools. All right, so let's get right to it. And conceptually, let's set the stage with charting. Now, a lot of trade strategies and approaches begin with a stock chart, okay? Not every strategy does, but for some traders, you know, maybe they're studying charts in an effort to hopefully improve the performance of their portfolio or individual trades. And maybe they have a new charting approach that they're trying to learn and maybe get good at. So let's suppose, and there are so many. Obviously, I'm just going to have to pick one or two to illustrate the concept. But let's just say a trader has heard of this concept of trading when a price breaks through a price ceiling. And maybe they want to go back in time and just get some repetition with this new concept. Well, rather than, you know, let's say, how about we just bring up an example stock here? Who knows? How about we just pick one of the big ones? Let's go for Alphabet, Google. So here's Google right now. And, you know, maybe a trader sees that just recently price appears to have broken through a downward sloping trend line on their chart. And maybe they could take a trade right now and then sit and wait for a few days or a few weeks to see if their idea happens to pan out. Or maybe they go back in time and put their newly developed skill into practice, put it through its paces, see if it works. And get this is one way that we might be able to get some repetition with a new approach very quickly. So here's the first technique that might be used. Now, this is using the thinkorswim desktop charts feature. Okay, so if you want to follow along with this at home, what you would do, if you haven't downloaded thinkorswim desktop, you could just go to your Schwab online account, go to trade, and you'll see a download function for thinkorswim. All right. Also, you could do it at thinkorswim.com, but you just download the software and then access it using your Schwab username and password. Right. But once we're logged in, we'll go to the charts function up here at the top, bring up a symbol, and for some traders, they prefer to do this with a random symbol, so they don't already carry they don't carry any let's say existing bias into the application of a new technique. And then maybe just pick a random date in the past. Okay, let's say we wanted to go back a few years and start identifying what the trader considers to be price breakouts on a chart, and then see if we can trade those. So on thinkorswim, we can change our time frame. This is one approach that might be used for back testing a new strategy. Let's go up here to our D4 that shows us this is a daily chart. I'm going to click on this and switch our time frame, and we could really go back as far as we want to. We could go back just a year or 2 years or 3 years, or the maximum available for the chart. For this example, how about we go back 10 years? Okay, I'm going to leave this on a daily chart and click OK. And what you'll notice now is we're looking back over historical price performance time, and you can see the delineations between the different years. So here's the end of 2023, the end of 2022, the end of 2021, 2020, and so on. So the trader can just go back in time. And here's the first step of this technique. Just click and drag over some period of time in the past. All right. Just when we do that click and drag, it's going to highlight a specific period of time. And then when we release that click, so maybe let's grab maybe a year here. When we release that click, it's going to zoom in on just that period of time. And then what the trader could do is just look to the far right margin and just treat this as though it were today. Okay. Now, another thing that once we've zoomed in, there's going to be a scroll bar down here at the bottom. The extra space off to the right represents all of the dates that are still to the right of this candle, and the extra space to the left represent the dates to the left of this candle. So if we pull that back and forth, we can actually advance and retreat through time. And let's just go back in time. And what some might do, they might be looking for a breakout event. Breakout event means we've had an apparent price ceiling, and I'm just going to refine this, use kind of a finer refining technique here, a navigation technique. If you'll notice, there are two arrows right down here at the bottom right. These allow us to retreat or advance one day at a time when we're zoomed in on a chart. How about we retreat back here? Ooh, here's an apparent price breakout. All right. Here's a time where Google started going sideways. Maybe for some traders, when they see stock going sideways, they might look for a price ceiling during that time frame and look for price to break through that level. And I'm going to draw a line right there at that price ceiling. Let me make that a little bit thicker so you can see it. I can right click on that. Let's edit the properties of that line, make it a little bit thicker. Let's also change it to blue. Let's make it a dashed line, make it a little bit thicker, maybe 5 out of 5 for width, click OK. And let's also right click, edit the properties, save that as our default property. Okay, in any case, just makes it easier for my audience to see. So at this point, the trader might decide, well, let's just imagine that I purchased the stock on this date at this time, about $147.64. And maybe the plan is if the stock falls back down, they might decide where they might have a planned exit. If the trade is not going well, maybe they get out. Or if the stock advances, they may have a plan in place for how far they think the stock might rise. In any case, what they're doing here is conceptualizing their strategy for this trade, and then they can just advance one day at a time and see how that trade starts to play out. Ooh, look at this. We dipped down below that broken price ceiling, started to advance again, and the trader could see how their trade plays out very quickly. Rather than waiting for days or weeks, they can backtest an approach. So obviously, this is just a single approach, but all sorts of different approaches might be applied here. It could be support and resistance trades. It could be using new technical studies or indicators. Those indicators can just be added to the chart, go to a time in the past, and start to do that trading. And we can gather, a trader could conceptually get years of trading accomplished in what, half an hour, an hour? A very quick way to get new trading experience with a new strategy. So that's backtesting strategy number one. Very simple. Load up a longer term chart, go to a date in the past, zoom in, and then use the features down at the bottom of the chart to go forward and back in time. Now, this is a nice approach if one is using, let's say, a stock trading strategy. But let's suppose the trader was thinking, well, what if I wanted to trade an option on this price breakout back here? And our example here turned out to be January 20th of 2021. Wouldn't it be nice if we go back and backtest the performance of an option strategy, maybe on this signal that we just saw here on the stock chart? Well, that function is also available on thinkorswim because thinkorswim retains historical price data for options, and we can go back and trade those as though we were trading on that date at that time. And we can do that using the Analyze tab, using something called thinkBack. So thinkorswim, going back in time, thinkBack. Okay. Let's go to our thinkBack function. And on this page, what we want to do is make sure that we have the symbol that we were reviewing. And we just choose the date. Up here in the upper right, what we're doing here is telling thinkorswim, hey, I want to be trading as though this were January 20th of 2021. So let's click on our little calendar, and we can use the double-headed arrows to retreat back a year at a time. And we can use the single arrows to retreat back a month at a time. So there's January of 2021, and our breakout date was here on the 20th. So as soon as we've selected a specific date using this thinkBack function, this is going to load the options data as of the close on that date. Okay. So you'll notice here in our option chain, we have options now available for the 22nd of January of 2021. Yep, we are now looking back in time. And let's suppose that the trader of options in this case has decided, you know, maybe we'll go out and buy some contracts that have 58 days, a couple of months. Now, obviously, all sorts of other strategies. I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible here to keep the focus less on the strategy and more on the tool. Okay. But let's just suppose that our trader here decided, well, on January 20th of 2021, let's suppose we wanted to buy. As a matter of fact, let me borrow some extra space down here. Yes, there's a price chart that we could use down here as well. We already were looking at our price chart. We don't need that for this. But let's suppose we're buying a contract. It's going to give us a couple of months. And let's say we're buying a call contract. So let's go to, I don't know, how about the at the money? As of that date, trading at 1784, the 1780 would be the at the money contract. Let's click on the ask price, and you'll notice this queues up a purchase down here at the bottom. By default, it's going to be 10 contracts. Now, that can be changed, just like we're placing an order. But we could just place our hypothetical option trade right down there at the bottom. And then we can see how that trade performs over time. If we were looking at our chart, the day after this hypothetical entry date, price went up a little bit. Looks like we hit a peak and then sold off. How do we suppose our hypothetical trade, let's go back here to this tab, how do we suppose this trade did that first day where we went up a little bit? Well, we can actually advance down here. You'll notice it says PL date. We can pop that forward one day, and it starts to calculate for us our profit or loss if we bought. In this case, it was 4 contracts. Depends on how many contracts we buy. But you can see this is calculating for us how a trade is doing over time. Adjust the number of contracts, adjust the date, but we can just scroll forward and it'll constantly be updating profit or loss scenarios for us over here to the far right. There we go. So this is a second tool that might be used to test trade scenarios. Now, in this case, obviously we're trading options. We just traded a long call as our example. Let's delete that. So if we want to delete things, we can either delete by clicking the X right here, or you can click the X here if we have several hypothetical trades going on. But there is one final tool that I wanted to demonstrate today that actually uses more than just closing values, as this thinkBack tool does use. The thinkBack tool is powerful, but a function known as OnDemand. I don't know if anybody's ever used, who's used OnDemand before for their back testing? OnDemand is quite different. Now, as I go in to demonstrate this, I have to say, this is only available in the live trading platform. So I'm sure that somebody, it's quite likely after this webcast is over, somebody's going to comment down below my video and say, Cameron, I can't find this. Well, it might be because you're using the thinkorswim paper money. But if we're in our live trading platform, and this is just a demonstration account, but over here to the right, you'll see this function. Douglas, you say, Eva, you've used the OnDemand. Douglas, you've used OnDemand. David, you've tried it. Okay. So OnDemand actually allows us to trade. It allows the trader to practice strategies and charts using really trading very much in sort of an environment of the past. So watch what happens. I'm just going to click on OnDemand. I'll explain what's happening here. When we first click on OnDemand, we get this heads up. Hey, you've just started OnDemand, a powerful backtesting tool. It lets you replay any trading day from the last several months. And it goes back quite a bit. Test your trading skills with simulated trades based on that data. The capabilities include run it at your convenience, even on nights and weekends. You can select the previous trading day in the upper left-hand corner. Anyway, it walks you through how to set this up, okay? And we click OK. And as we were talking, up in the upper left, it would say pre-buffering. What that's doing is it's loading up historical quote data. It's loading up historical charts, and it's actually loading them up literally tick by tick. So it takes a few seconds to get this loaded up and ready to go. But now what the trader can do is use this date field to select some time in the past. And this is going to load up charts. It's going to load up the quote data for stocks and for options. And the trader can then begin to implement strategies as they see fit. How about let's switch things up. How about we go to Merck? Let's maybe switch back to a yearly chart. And let's choose some other date in the past. All right. What should we do? Should we just slip it back another? Now, I hope you notice the navigation that we're employing here. We can just navigate through the calendar using the same double-headed arrows or single arrows to go back or forward a year, back or forward a month. But we just pick some date in the past. How about we go back a couple of years? Let's go to February. Let's try to randomize this as much as possible. And I'm just going to click on February 22nd, just as the example. All right. So once we select the 22nd, we click go, and it says pre-buffering up here. As it loads up chart data for February 22nd, look at this. We get no cheating here, no extra chart information. And maybe our trader looks at this and says, well, as of February 22nd, looks like we might be coming down to a support. Maybe they decide that they're going to place a trade, but they can now go to the trade tab and treat this just as though they were trading back on February 22nd. This is now quote information for, it was February 22nd of what did I choose? 2022? Yep. And they can trade stocks or options. You'll notice this is now the option chain for 2022. And even within the live trading environment, this is now a paper trading platform. So whatever trades we place here, it's it's a no risk environment where we can just practice trading. So let's say that our trader has looked at their historical chart. They think, hey, we're close enough to a support level. Maybe we're going to go buy that option again. Let's go to our trade tab. Let's go out a couple of months, just as another example. And maybe we buy that. Let's go in the money a little bit. We'll even just go at the money. It's slightly in the money. Click on that. That creates a buy order, just like in the normal trading platform. Let's just do one example contract here. I'm going to submit this as a market order. Obviously, anytime we place a market order, especially with options, means that we're probably giving up the whole spread here, the bid-ask spread. But the effort when we're putting in a market order means we're just trying to get the order filled quickly. But we click confirm and send. We're going to buy one of these contracts as though we were trading back there February 22nd of 2022, buying a 14th of April call. We're going to send that off. This is going to have an order confirmation screen, just like we're used to seeing. Obviously, no commissions in this simulated environment, but there certainly can be in real life. And we just bought that contract, and you can see the impact of the portfolio up here. We can go to the monitor tab and monitor the progress of that trade, and we can even speed up the progress of that trade. We can watch it develop in real time as though this were back in the early hours of trading, February 22nd of 2022. We can advance it 10 minutes at a time. We can advance it 30 minutes at a time, or we can even just start moving forward into future days. Let me say, let's push this forward to February 24th. Let's click go. It's going to load up. That's that pre-buffering. It's loading up that quote data, and it gives us the performance as of that date. All right, Mark says, okay, that looks like it's not directly related to this. But guys, this is our third tool for backtesting stock strategies and option strategies on thinkorswim. Looks like this trade, once that is loaded, not doing so well, but this is a powerful tool where the trader can start to connect their trade decisions with historical data and see how trades can play out over time, gain a lot of experience backtesting strategies very, very quickly. All right, a lot of great tools here. When we're done with that, we can just click the on-demand button again, and that's going to turn off this tool, and it's just going to take us right back to our normal live account. Now, if we were to click the tool, turn that tool back on again, we're back to the original now paper money function, including any trades that we had historically placed in this portfolio. And notice it went back to the same date that I had previously selected. There we go. That's an introduction to the on-demand function. But everybody, there is your introduction to 3 powerful backtesting tools available right there on the thinkorswim platform. Hope you enjoyed that. If you are enjoying these discussions, couple of suggestions that I have for you to make sure that you're taking advantage of all the resources at your disposal. First of all, make sure that you're following Ken and me on X. So Ken can be found at Ken Rose CS. I'm found at Cameron May CS. Great resource available, when we're not in a live stream at the moment. The best place to find us is out there on X, right? So you can follow Ken at Ken Rose CS. I'm right here. You can see it on the screen at Cameron May CS again. But also make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. If you're not a subscriber of the channel, go down right to the display window. Below the display window, click on the subscribe button, or you can go down in the lower right-hand corner, click on the subscribe button there. But subscribing, it just allows you to get notifications when new webcasts come out. But also, this is the best place. YouTube is the best place to, it is a great place. Actually, a couple places you can do this. But you can find the playlists for our previous webcasts that's the place to find the playlist. You can also join the live streams right there. Let's see, did I miss anything else? Yeah, that's Kurt asked a question, a little bit too much to tackle right here, Kurt. All right. Everybody, thanks for giving me your time today. Thank you. Let's see, 145 people watching right now. I can see 36 have already clicked the like button. That's very much appreciated. A like button to me, clicking the like button is like applauding. So if you click that like button, not only does it tell me that you're enjoying what we're doing, but also helps the YouTube algorithm so we find a wider audience, as do these other functions. So it's a win-win for everybody. Thanks for doing that. But yeah, follow on X, click that subscribe button, click the like button, and that's for those that are watching the recording of this webcast as well. Everybody, I will see you again next Monday for another discussion. I have other webcasts each day of the week. But I'll also look for you on X. But whenever I see you again, until that moment arrives, I want to wish you the very best of luck. Happy trading. Bye-bye.